Senator Boisvenu. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, it is with emotion, great emotion and pride that I address you today to pay tribute to my great source of motivation and energy, the one who has guided my steps for nearly 14 years now here in the Senate. I'm speaking of my daughter, Julie. Every June 22nd, for the past 21 years, I've written a letter to my daughter to let her know what my mission and hers has achieved with difficulty. And it's important for me to share it with you as this is our last June 22nd here among you. Dear Julie, you were a woman full of positive energy. You were a shining light who wasn't afraid to reach out to others and wrap them in your big smile and infectious energy. Others' happiness brought you happiness. On the evening of June 22nd, 2002, you and your friends were celebrating your recent promotion to manager at a Sherbrooke business. I was so proud of how far you'd come, even if you occasionally expressed your doubts about not living up to the boss's expectations. But each time I reminded you that success was not an end in itself, but rather the path you'd taken to become better. I remember that after our talks, your doubts would fade away, and you leave, placing a kiss on my cheek and saying, "Merci, mon petit papa." But at the end of that June 22nd evening, you had no idea that a sexual predator recently released from prison was on the hunt for his next prey. This predator, who was in the wrong place at the wrong time, confronted you, and no doubt because you tried to get away, kidnapped and confined you. And like many women who have been raped, you probably thought, if I don't resist, I'll stay alive. But he didn't want any witnesses to his heinous deed. He didn't want another conviction, so he murdered you and made your body disappear. What also shocked me deeply about this tragedy was that this sexual predator was intercepted twice by police officers in the evening before he took you away. In the absence of an investigative tool such as the sex offender registry, the police didn't pursue their investigation any further and let this future kill it go, even though his name on such a registry would have saved your life. My dear daughter, you know, as do my colleagues, how deeply I hold my convictions regarding victims' rights, and if the defense of them focuses primarily on the fate of female victims of violence, it's because your fate, Julie, sealed the fate of my own life. Above all, your murder convinced me that our justice system wasn't doing enough for victims and their families, and 21 years later, it's still not doing enough. When the justice system doesn't venture into victims' territory, it does venture into victims' territory. It does so timidly that the changes are almost imperceptible. For victims in crimes, these changes have been achieved very slowly, all too often through suffer and re-victimization. This year, at last, after 8 years of hard work, we have succeeded in getting our bill passed regarding the wearing of electronic cuffs. If it had been in 2002, it would have saved your life, surely. Now and in the future, you'll be saving the lives of dozens of abused women. This afternoon, when I deliver my speech criticizing Bill S-12 on the sex offender registry, give me the wisdom to speak to my colleagues from the heart, to raise their awareness so that they understand, and I know that many do or will, that the fight to defend women's right to protection is a hard one, and that without their solidarity, too many women will continue to live in fear, and more will tragically lose their lives like you. Julie, thank you for the journey we've made together. We still have a long way to go, and I know you'll accompany me every step of the way. Je t'aime, merci.